Hey guys, this is Brandon again, and welcome to Massive Tutorials Episode 1. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make a synth that I made. It's a trance synth, and it sounds like this. Yeah, that's it. So, just move my microphone here. Okay, so I actually made this synth myself. Just messing around a little bit. It took me about an hour to make, but I'm gonna make this video. Hopefully, I'm gonna try to keep it under 7 minutes. It's really not that complicated, but let's jump right into it. So, open up your Massive, whether you have it in your DAW or you have it in your, just a standalone. Right now, I got Ableton opened up. I'm using that as my main DAW. And what we're going to do after you open up Massive, we're going to go to New Sound. So for this sound, we're going to be using two oscillators. The first oscillator is going to be Smooth Square, and the second oscillator is going to be Dirty Throat. I do apologize if I'm going too quick. Trying to keep it slow. I know I tend to talk fast sometimes, actually most of the time. For oscillator number one, we're going to move the wavetable position to about 2 o'clock, and we're actually going to change the waveform to bend minus plus. I'll go over what this actually means in another video. There's a difference between the spectrum, the bend plus, bend minus, and formant. And I know a lot of people who make the tutorials just tell you to choose, hey, it's spectrum or it's formant, and they don't explain why. And a lot of you are probably wondering why. But I'll go in depth in another video. Like I said, basically that just has to do with the waveform. So the intensity in the amplifier we're going to leave all the way up. The filter fade we're going to leave just how it is, right in the middle. Now over to oscillator 2. We're going to turn this down to 0.07. And it should sound like this so far. Not really much to it, but it'll start shaping soon. After you turn the pitch down to 0.07, you're going to want to put the wavetable position to about 10 o'clock, somewhere around there, and we're going to change this to bend minus plus. Intensity in the amp can stay. Filter fade, that can stay. Oscillator 3 we're not using, but we are going to turn the modulation oscillator on, and we're going to put a phase on oscillator 1 that's going to be at about 11 o'clock. You could play with that a little bit if you want. After the sound is done, you'll notice that when you go back and change the phase, it changes the sound a little bit, and it's kind of cool. You could play with it. But for now, we're going to leave that. Over here, we're going to go ahead and turn our insert 1 on, and we're going to put on a parabolic shaper. Dry wet is going to be all the way up, and the drive is going to be all the way up. Insert 2 we're leaving alone. I'll just go up through here, I guess. While we have the voicing tab open, we're going to change the unison to 6. Turn the pitch cutoff on, and we're just going to turn that up a little bit. If you notice, if you turn it all the way up, it detunes the sound a lot. So we're just going to want to put that on a little bit, and you'll notice that the sound's starting to come together. So I actually have the master turned down a little bit on this one just because I know it gets loud with the 6 voices here. That's more like it. So obviously you can tell that's starting to come together. We're just going to add a couple effects and then it'll be it. We can go ahead to the filter 1, and you can put on a bandpass filter. Turn the cut up halfway, resonance halfway, and then the bandwidth we're going to turn all the way up. And then for filter 1, we're going to put on some reverb. And for the reverb, you're going to want to put the dry wet at about 11 o'clock. You can play with this to your liking, or you can add a macro control onto it. So you can mess with it if you want more reverb, less reverb, if you want to modulate it, whatever. But for this sound, I got the dry wet at 11. And then the size, we're going to put at about 1 o'clock. Density and color you can leave. And for the filter 2, we're going to add a dimension expander. The dry wet is going to be at about 10 o'clock, and the size at about 10 o'clock. Also, you can play with this too if you want to get a different sound. Playing with the dry wet, adds, a little more like depth to the sound, if you notice. But just leave it at 10 o'clock. EQ, we're going to turn that on. And we're just going to tweak these knobs a little bit. For the EQ, I got the low at 1 o'clock. Got the boost at 11. Around 11. Frequency at about 11. And the high shelf is going to be at 2. So around there. So that's it. If you wanted to play with the pitch cut off, you can. Make it a little more detuned. Right there. You can play with the phase a little bit. Turning that knob a little bit does a lot, but this is my setup. This is the sound I made, and that's it. So if you have any questions, leave them below, or you can contact me via email. I'll leave my email address, my contact information below. If you have any suggestions, any requests, any questions, anything, like I said, just comment them below. I reply to everybody. I'll address every question, every concern, whatever. If you have any constructive criticism, please tell me. I'm new to this, and it's nice to know. It'd be nice to know how I'm doing so far. So, hope that was helpful, and I'll see you next time.